You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast.
You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. My name is Shawn Wilkie, and along with my awesome co-host, we interview innovators in this space every week. Ivan, please get us started.
Hi, I'm Ivan Zach, and I'm happy to introduce you guys to Paul Camilo. Paul is the founder of Veterinary Consultation Services, and I've been at it for, 12 years. He's the president of Your Pets Vets, and he's a certified veterinary practice manager. He is a big fan of Star Wars, and I know Paul through vetpartners.org, which is the organization that pulls together different professionals in the industry. And I think that the most representation is sort of by people that are trying to optimize practices. They're consultants, they're IT specialists, data specialists. It's a great group of people. Paul, welcome to the show. Let's talk about your new venture.
Excellent. Thank you for inviting me, Shawn and Ivan.
Your Pets Vets. We've started talking before the show that this is a de novo clinics that you're building. So as industry going through a consolidation and acquiring practice and going through what I'm seeing a lot through our new venture, we're seeing how hard it is to integrate practices with their own culture, their own systems, their own data, their own financials. And every time you acquire practice, you go through a huge stress. So de novo is definitely a very attractive model on the market. And can you tell us more about what's so special about Your Pets Vets, and what do you think is going to take you to scale?
I guess the starting point is how Your Pets Vets came to be. And part of that is because I do have 12 years of helping other animal hospitals launch initiatives and accomplish goals. And in doing so, I've worked with amazing doctors, amazing hospitals, and had a lot of really good success. But I've also been in situations where at the end of the initiatives, things just didn't work out perfectly. And I got to the point where I started thinking about how I want to spend my time. And do I really want to spend my time helping others maybe accomplish their goals, or would I rather just do it for myself? And it was a very simple answer for me then. And I said, I'd rather just build a team and do it. I was very fortunate when I started my career. I started at a dental specialty hospital in a very busy, successful general practice as well. And I kind of worked my way up the ranks there until I became practice administrator, and we had a fantastic time, wonderful culture. About a year and a half ago, really 3.5 years ago, we started talking about selling it, and it was about a 2-year process to do it right. But in that process, I thought to myself, now is the time. If not now, then never. And I decided to put together the plan and start looking for some investors. And I was very happy and extremely lucky to partner up with a guy named Luis Marquez, who's a superstar entrepreneur. And we decided to launch Your Pets Vets. What makes us unique is, above all else, so if anyone knows me, if have heard me lecture in the past, they know that I'm an expert at creating compliance. I'm a longtime Toastmasters. I've taken a lot of Toastmasters principles and infused them in the animal hospital workflow. I am very comfortable and love using technology, so I leverage technology well. And I just am able to create an ecosystem of high compliance and great customer service. Knowing this and building the plans for Your Pets Vets, I said to myself that that's not going to be enough. I did that before. We were super successful. The practice sold for a wonderful Ebitda with a great multiple, but I felt like I could do better. In thinking about it, I thought to myself, because I'm so good at compliance and creating revenue and all those things, my number one focus for Your Pets Vets is going to be culture. It's absolutely, without a doubt, going to be culture. Since I resigned my last position up until now, I've put all my efforts into learning about culture, learning about teams, learning how to scale that, and really focus in on how to make the animal hospital workplace fun. Like literally making most of my decisions from the starting point of, is this going to be fun for my team? Is this going to make their work life happy and exciting, and really give them the desire to come into work and perform? So that's where we at. If I had to say there's one thing that's going to separate us from most other places, is how we approach culture.
Paul, we've talked a lot. I know you've been kind of heads down getting this new venture on the go. And I think that you said that you're just about to open your first hospital, negotiating leases on the next two. And then, wow, did the world ever give you a gift called COVID-19? So what the hell's that been like? Trying to open a vet hospital in the middle of everything that's been going on in the world. What are the challenges been like, and how have you been getting through them?
Well, certainly there have been a lot of challenges through the COVID-19 era. Probably the biggest one is the city building department and how they're operating now. They have limited scheduling for inspections and accessibility and everything. What normally takes 24 hours now minimally takes a week and a half. So it has really slowed the process down and slowed our opening down. However, I think my business model, we're prepared for opening in this climate. I have a wonderful partnership with a Petland who's going to refer clients to us. I anticipate starting day one, we're going to have 100 plus clients monthly. And that's just going to go month over month and really supercharge our business.
That's amazing. That's the spirit. So you mentioned that the key part of your organization is going to be culture. It's always great to build a culture within one organization, and that's actually my passion. In every company that I've built, I'm trying to make sort of a balance between seriousness and fun, as well as to make it sort of a family feel. But with the hospitals, it's sort of sub little units. So I'm wondering if you're using any sort of mechanism, infrastructure, or more sort of a framework that will help you to take culture from the first hospital, ingrain it into core values, or your mission, vision, and how do you replicate it, and how do you more so scale it? How do you scale the culture in the little satellite organizations and then get it across the entire enterprise?
Sure, that's a great question. It's really has to do with technology and leveraging technology. One of the first decisions I made was, who was I going to use for payroll? And part of that decision-making process is, who has a HR platform that I can leverage? So we ended up using Paylocity. So everything from the applications on my website, as soon as someone applies, we get notifications. We can schedule interviews through it. If they're hired, they're onboarded through the same technology. So all their paperwork is done at home before they walk in the practice. All our training modules are uploaded there. So as they're once they're done with their onboarding videos, they will launch a training module for them based on their position, and everything is managed through the HR platform. That way we could assure that everyone's getting the same message, the same training, and doing the same task.
That's really interesting, Paul. So, I mean, you talked about technology. I know you're a big fan of technology. A little update for you, shameless self-promotion. Our Mac app launched yesterday, so you can finally get it. I know you've been waiting around for it.
Yay!
So tell me about the technology stack, and then tell me what it's been like to be able to have this gift of designing a hospital chain using a very wide technology stack. How did you pick? I mean, there's so many practice management systems out there. There's so many technology pieces to add to the puzzle. How long ago did you start? How did you pick, and what did you settle on?
Absolutely. So the process started about a year ago. The starting point was demoing all the cloud platforms. I knew I wanted to go cloud right away because that's where technology is going. And then I created a Excel file with all my wants. And in my demos, those were my questions I asked every single platform on what they could provide, what they can't provide. I ultimately chose to go with IDEXX's Neo. And the real big reason for that is there were a couple of providers that said, hey, we'll give it to you for free because we know that you'll promote it and all that. And that wasn't a major priority for me. But I ended up going with IDEXX's Neo because I felt that their company had the resources to develop it. None of the PIMs, none of the cloud-based PIMs have everything I want. My wants are 5 years away in most cases, but I selected the company that I knew had the resources to develop it, and now I am a thorn in IDEXX's side, pushing them to add these features.
That's awesome.
So that's basically where our client information is stored. I also decided to plug in Smartflow.
Yay.
Yeah.
Hey, quiet over there.
I figured you'd like that, Ivan. But Smartflow, I mean, I don't know if Ivan and I are connected somehow, but it really, Smartflow is exactly the workflow I was doing analog about 12 years ago. We used to use little checkoff lists. So I read Checklist Manifesto. I recommend it.
That's a lot of ideas come from there.
Yep, Checklist Manifesto. Read it, fell in love, understood it, made sense. Certainly, I knew that was the way, that was the model to use to really tweak the workflow and control it. However, before Smartflow, I used to use little tiny checkoff boxes. They were no more than 2 inches by 2 inches big with a ton of stuff on it, and they were taped on computer screens, on keyboards, on different areas of the practice to assure that the technicians were going to use this list when doing a task. And then, so in using Smartflow just, it's like my dreams came to reality. I mean, it is so amazing how I'm finally able to do it digitally and track things. And the beautiful thing, when you ask about scaling amongst multiple locations, I'll be able to just, any tweaks I make in the workflow, I'll be able to just change it for each location. That way, when the team members are doing their tasks, they'll see, oh, this is new. Let's do it this way. And I mean, it's just great. So that's really the starting point for the technology here. But we have really supercharged technology in our office. We have Alexa in every room, able to play music, able to interact with clients. We programmed her to do client education for us, so we could ask her to tell the clients about pet insurance, tell the clients about wellness plans while the team members step out of the room and go do another quick task and come back. It's all about efficiency, and it's all about being fun. My team is so unbelievably proud of this practice right now, and we haven't even opened yet. We're scheduled to open sometime next weekend, but they're so proud. When we do tours, it's amazing when they get the reactions from people that on our technology, on our look, on our feel, and that's what I want to do, because as I continue to build that culture and really develop that feel in the practice, I think that's what's going to allow me to recruit superstars and build the team. When I started this plan, I assessed risk, and I knew my biggest risk was recruiting enough good people to help me scale. And that really starts with the doctors. And I believe that the way we're approaching culture and technology, that is going to become easier for me as we go. I did a tour with the doctor yesterday, and her comment at the end was, it looks like Apple built this hospital. I feel like Apple came in here, or Steve Jobs came in here and built the practice for you.
That's amazing. Paul, thank you for all the warm words about Smartflow. Obviously, I'm super excited when people talk nice things about it. Hopefully, you'll be able to say the same thing about Talkative when you'll try Shawn's new project.
John, I wish you could see my desktop right now, because I have 2 of my 20 tabs allocated to Talkatoo because I swear about every 3 days I go there and refresh to see if OS is available for me.
Yeah, we'll get you set up today, man.
Yeah. And Shawn, if you didn't know, Apple is this great company that makes phones, not the thing that you use. So just saying. So I have a little nerdy question about the sort of consolidation versus de novo practices. As I said at the beginning, whenever I talk to consolidators, the challenge is that you mix different cultures. So you're starting on the right foot because you're having the same culture, and then from there you can build anything. People are bought into the vision. So that's great. But also the practice, even the great practice, when it goes through acquisition, it goes through a dive and hopefully comes back and becomes better through consolidation. So my question is, you did your due diligence when you started the project. And if it's not a secret, it would be interesting to know what was the percentage-wise Ebitda in the hospital when you sold it. What do you think the Ebitda will be within the first, I don't know, 6 months? And if you can calculate, or first year in the de novo clinic? And then how fast do you think you will close the gap between where you think it will be in 1 year to what you build your previous hospital towards? Again, if it's not proprietary information, it's just interesting for the consolidation.
That's a great question, and it's something I thought about, and unfortunately, I just don't know. I truly don't know. How many startup animal hospitals have the luxury of having 100 new clients a month over month, and what's the effects
Not
of
many.
that? Especially when the animal hospital values pet insurance like we're going to, and really leverage that to create high compliance. I have no idea what the projections are going to be. I mean, I use industry standards in my business plan, and I was conservative on those. But my guess is that we are going to outperform those projections substantially. So, I would hope that these practices turn into a 3-4 doctor practice doing about 2.5 to 3 million. I know historically that my associates produce typically anywhere from 800 to 1.2 million, which is way above the industry standards. And again, I'm an early adopter when it comes to pet insurance, and I'm an early adopter when it came to wellness plans. So I just understand how to marry people to the practice and just create a cool, fun, high quality medicine culture.
So what your goal on Ebitda would be, let's say 1, 2, 3 years out? Where do you think you're going to be on the percentage? Again, not the raw numbers, but.
Sure. I anticipate that we'll be somewhere around 10 to 15% the first year, and grow into, conservatively, I would say somewhere around 30% EBITDA with a multiple on that, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think the multiple is more what I look at. All the consolidators kind of calculate EBITDA a little bit different. That's one thing I found out, which was a little strange. I figured there was a straightforward equation for that, but it's really not. They value things differently. So I think the big opportunity is the multiple and how to manipulate that. There's a couple of thoughts, multiple locations, certainly what type of technology and equipment you have, all the different type of opportunities out there to grow that multiple. And I think that's where that practices are somewhere around 5 to 7 or 8 now. I think larger specialty hospitals are in the low double digits. I think there's opportunities to get to that 15 to 20 range in the future.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great goal. So we're kind of running out of time. We have 2 questions that we ask every guest. So one of them is there a TED Talk, a YouTube video, a book that you read recently that inspired you and you would like to share with our listeners?
Yes, there was a TED Talk I listened to years ago that really made an impact on my life. It's really short. It's the 3 things I learned while my plane crashed. 3 things I learned while my plane crashed. And it put life into a little bit of perspective on how to approach life and how to potentially not have a wish list of things you want to do and really just do them. I recommend that for anyone. It's really short, 4 or 5 minutes, but it certainly helped change my life.
That's awesome, Paul. And then the last question we ask is, who's another innovator in this space that you recommend that we have on the show?
I knew this question was coming. There's so many smart people out there. It was so hard to kind of nail one down. It actually took me, and I didn't go through your whole library of who you've interviewed yet, although I am on a binge right now of your podcast. So thank you for that. It's great driving material. I would say have you ever spoken to Sean McVay?
No, we should. The founder of Pathway.
Yes.
One of the ex-CEO. Yeah.
Sean is an amazing person, a fantastic presenter, and he is, I have found inspiration in hearing him speak before. So I would highly recommend you interview him and tell him I said hi.
Thank you so much for listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. If you want to hear about our new episodes, please follow us on any social media channel. Also, you can check out our website at veterinaryinnovationpodcast.com. See you next week.